When we talk about core AI development, some Western or Chinese names may come to mind, but now a Bengaluru-based startup Sarvam AI is betting on sovereign AI, which means foundational AI models developed from scratch in India. In fact, they are designed, trained and hosted entirely in the country. Now, these models have been trained on the Sarvam 2T corpus of over 2 trillion tokens of Indian data. They've recently launched a bunch of newer versions of various models such as Bulbul version 3, Vision and Samvad models, and we'll get to them in a bit. But first, to understand how Sarvam AI works, we need to understand token tags. Now, any standard LLMs which have been trained largely on English data needs to break down regional language like Hindi data into smaller tokens. Now, a single Hindi word can be broken down into 4 to 8 tokens in order to be processed. Now, this increases the cost and the time taken to process such inputs. However, since Sarvam AI is largely trained on Indian data, they are able to optimize this, and the optimized tokenizer is able to do the same task by breaking down the Hindi word into just about 2 or 3 tokens, which significantly reduces the time and cost of processing this data. Now, the recent version 3 of Bulbul is a text-to-speech model that supports 11 Indian languages. Now, all of these launches are in the lead-up to the AI Impact Summit coming up, and they will be doing more launches as well. But if we talk about Bulbul V3, it is optimized for 8 kilohertz of audio, which is the quality of a standard phone call in India. It is able to cut out the background noise. In fact, it is also able to understand Hinglish, or the combination of Hindi and English that people in India commonly use. This model is able to identify that as well, and even the mid-sentence language switching. Now, this is largely about Bulbul V3, but there is also the launch of Vision by Sarvam that is catching a lot of eyeballs because they have achieved an accuracy score of 84.3% on the OLM OCR bench. Now, what Vision does is it is able to read text from images, and now this high ranking puts it above Gemini 3 Pro and also DeepSeek as well as ChatGPT. So these are all the recent models that have been launched by Sarvam AI that are capturing a lot of eyeballs.
Anjali, thank you very much for putting the new models into perspective. But let me also ask you, how is this model essentially different from what ChatGPT or models like Gemini have to offer?
Right, so if you look at how Western or the larger AI giants have been trained, they are more generalist in nature compared to Sarvam, which is more of a specialist. So while all Sarvam models may not be able to perform a very complex computational or reasoning based tasks, they are able to identify Indian context much more easily. And the second biggest difference is the data that it has been trained on. While Sarvam has largely fully been trained on Indian data, that context is missing in your larger AI giants of the West like ChatGPT, Gemini and others. The other capability that Sarvam AI has is also the ability to code mix, which is basically identify the various languages that Indians are used to speaking mid-sentence. It is able to identify that and also inculcate that in its voice models as well, which makes it much more Indianized in a way.